Hey, good people. I just realized a lot of you probably want to know if this applies to Sandy Hook, these posts I've been doing. If you've never followed one of my posts before, I talk about something called Gematria, as invented by Pythagoras, or as stolen by Pythagoras, likely invented sometime before him in Egypt, not the Greeks. A bunch of my viewers want me to say that, so I'm saying that. And I agree with you guys. I just don't know who else to credit it to, because in all my research, it goes back to Pythagoras. But anyhow, in his system, two numbers are very important. 26 is the God number. Think of English real quick. 26 letters in length. Z is the 26th letter. The word God is spelled G-O-D. That's the 7th letter, the 15th, and the 4th. Add it together, God sums to 26. This system of gematria, where 26 is the God number, is about coding numbers into words, names, and phrases. In his system, he also said a name should sum to 33. In English, name is spelled N-A-M-E. That's 14 plus 1 plus 13 plus 5. It sums to 33. There's another way to add. Instead of adding the full value of the letter, where N is 14, instead, N becomes worth 5 because 1 plus 4 is 5. You just do that for every letter. You sum it until it becomes a single digit. For S, you have to do 2 steps. It's the only letter. Z is the 26th letter. 2 plus 6 becomes 8. Anyway, if you take a phrase like code name, scrunch every letter to a single digit, then add it, it sums to 33. You start seeing world leaders take on 33 names, from Bill Clinton to Iyad Barak, who were both their respective leaders in their respective countries at the same time. And it's not just those two. There's a long history of it. And this name right here, Dr. H. Wayne Carver, is a very coded name. In fact, it equates to the same thing as Steven Spielberg, the name Spielberg. And we'll get into that at the end. But anyway, let's just look at this gematria. Recall, the shooting took place in Newtown, Connecticut. Newtown is the home of this nation's second biggest gun lobby. The biggest is the NRA. The second biggest is the Hunting and Rifle Association, which is located in Newtown, where the school shooting happened. In letters to numbers, N is the 14th, it becomes 5. E is the 5th, W is the 23rd, 2 plus 3 is 5. T is the 20th, 2 plus 0 becomes 2. O is the 15th, 1 plus 5 becomes 6. W is the 23rd, 2 plus 3 becomes 5. N is the 14th, 1 plus 4 becomes 5. So, in this way, Newtown sums to 33, and it should be noted that Newtown is just down the road from Yale's Skull and Bones, where George W. Bush graduated from on July. He was born July 6, 1946. If you add his birthday up, 7 plus 6 plus 1 plus 9 plus 4 plus 6, it sums to 33. They refer to themselves as bonesmen. Bonesmen sums to 33, just as Newtown does, with the same method in gematria. So it just makes me wonder, is this just a little joke down the street from the planners who did it? Just a thought. Anyway, just below that you see NRA, 14 plus 18 plus 1 sums to 33. Of course, when you think of the NRA, you might think of Charlton Heston, who was Omega Man in the film Omega Man, released in 1964. Omega Man equals 33 in gematria, and in that movie it is the KV virus that wipes out humanity. K plus V is 11 plus 22, sums to 33, just like AIDS, which sums to 33. Just like this ALS thing, which started on July 4th, 1939. Sum that date, it sums to 33. Creepier, people. Watch my other videos if you haven't already. Anyway, just showing you where this 33 thing is already. But go back up to the name Newtown for a second. Notice how every letter turns into a 5, except for T and O. They become 2 and 6. And recall that 26 people were reported dead in this, the God number, 26. As you might recall, the first parent to come out was Robbie Parker. Both Robbie and Parker equal 33 in gematria, just as the name Robert also does. The main character in Omega Man that Charlton Heston plays is named Robert. Very common name in Hollywood and in movie and story characters. Also, if you notice to the side, I wrote Project Longevity in quotations with the date of 11/27/2012. That's when the governor of Connecticut, Dan Malloy, signed legislation looking to make, major gun bill changes. in the state and hopefully nationally. And that came out nearly a full, or actually a little more than a year, or no, excuse me, a little more than a month before the actual event of Sandy Hook, which happened December 14th, 2012. So, about 3 weeks span there. Project longevity in Gematria, by the way, sums to 99, and the word project itself sums to 33. So project is a coded 33. Dr. H. Wayne Carver, which we'll watch in a second, he's going to say that all children were shot between 3 and 11 times. He's going to say that with his own mouth. What is 3 times 11? The name Dr. H. Wayne Carver, I've done the math on the screen, sums to 93 in Gematria. What 93 is the number of Thelema, which is an occult religion as written about by Aleister Crowley, who he claimed the world's elites were all practicing. In our own history in the United States, we had the 93 World Trade Center bombing, and then we had a flight 93 of 33 passengers, please look it up if you don't believe me, crash in the Keystone State. Keystone equals 33 in Gematria. Near Indian Creek, both the words Indian and Creek also happen to equal 33 in Gematria. And if you go back and watch the TV footage, the witness of that was named Emma Bergen, and she gave her testimony at the Hilton Hotel. Well, the names Bergen and Hilton both sum to 33 in Gematria. And if you look at that name Bergen, there's a different Bergen who has been one of the main authors over all the years telling us the narrative of Osama bin Laden. The name Osama bin Laden, people, sums to 47, another number I talk about. And it was building 7 of 47 floors that day that fell. Think about that, 747. All right. So, Dr. H. Wayne Carver, aside from being a horrible spokesperson on TV, just as the smiling, grinning Robbie Parker, who looked like he was laughing before he told his sob story about his daughter who was killed that day, supposedly. So anyway, Dr. H. Wayne Carver, he wrote this legislation on May 25th, 2011, about, almost 7 months, so 6.5 months before the actual event. You can look this up. I wrote it down. Bill number 1054. Bill number 1054. An act concerning the disclosure of autopsy reports. What the whole thing is about is that in the state of Connecticut, children's autopsies under, I forget, like the age of 12 or something, will not have to be disclosed to the public. Now, why in the world would you have to pass a piece of legislation like that, people? Why would you have to pass that? Just think about it. This is all the evidence you need. You don't need all these other videos out here. Learn to do this research. Check that. Proof what I'm saying. Check to make sure I'm not crazy too. First check that, because I promise you I'm not. They're doing this all the time. That is what I'm revealing. Please watch my other videos if you haven't already. Okay, here we go. So, look at him. I mean, how incriminating. Who's he connected to? I call these people the Gang of 33. That might be a misleading title, but that's the nickname I've given them. On November 25th, the following year, a 44-page official report came out, almost a whole year later, and it said absolutely nothing. If you go look at all the mainstream press about this, they'll tell you that it's 44 pages of nothing. Also, it should be mentioned this is in Connecticut, the 5th state in order of establishment where the Bush dynasty is from. Look, they got the 555 sequence. The only other states that have that are Pennsylvania and Minnesota because of the NNEs, just like Connecticut. Also, the chief police officer reporting on this was Michael Kehoe. Michael Kehoe. The name Michael equals 33. The name Kehoe equals 26. Down in the comments, I got all the math for all this stuff linked, you guys. It's okay if you question me. I will show you it is all legit. Look at these numbers. They just repeat, repeat, repeat. Let's close by watching a little Dr. H. Wayne Carver. This guy's a master.
Good thing it's not being a prosecution, because then I couldn't answer that. But all the ones that I know of at this point were caused by the long weapon.
So the rifle was the primary weapon?
Yes. Question was, what caliber were these bullets? And I probably know more about firearms than most pathologists, but if I say it in court, they yell at me and don't make me answer. So I'll let the police.
He laughs. This is the day after the shooting, you guys. He just saw a bunch of dead kids supposedly shot between 3 and 11 times. He's laughing.
I only did 7 of the autopsies. The victims I had ranged from 3 to 11 wounds apiece, and I only saw 2 of them with close-range shooting.
3 to 11 wounds apiece. Remember, Adam Lanza, the shooter, had no motive, yet he went into a room of 6 and 7-year-olds, and he shot him up like a Rambo film. And this guy's laughing about it. People believe this. Because who sells it? Oprah and Dr. Phil? I mean, people gotta wake up.
Oh, I'm lucky I can tell you how.
Did you guys notice the 223 caliber? The 223 caliber rifle. Recall I said this was just down the street from Yale Skull and Bones. They use the number 322 to identify by. Think about the number 223 backwards.